Hi, welcome to Lambda with Python tutorial series. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to process a JSON file. The requirement is like this. We get JSON files into S3 object and there should be an automated process which takes that JSON file and it stores that information into DynamoDB. This is the overall requirement we are going to implement in this video. Let's get started. First, let's have a DynamoDB table. Have already created one table with name employees. For this employee, the primary key is employee ID and remaining data can be anything. Next, let's go and create S3 bucket where we are going to place this JSON object. I have previously created a bucket with name Java Home JSON. This is a bucket where we are going to place JSON files and it's automatically processed by Lambda function. Next, we need to set up Lambda. So before setting up Lambda, let's go and prepare IAM role for this Lambda. This Lambda requires access to S3 bucket. It has to read data from S3 and it has to place that information into DynamoDB. So IAM role for this Lambda should contain permissions to S3 and it also should contain permissions to DynamoDB. Plus, it also needs to contain permissions to AWS CloudWatch logs because all the logs it publishes to CloudWatch logs. So this particular Lambda function must have access to S3, access to DynamoDB, and also access to CloudWatch logs. Let's go ahead and create IAM policy and role. First, let's go and create a policy. Create policy, choose service. One service is CloudWatch logs. Select actions. To keep the example simple, I'm giving complete access for that. Resources, again to keep it a little simple, I'm giving it as all resources. We need additional permissions. We gave permissions for logs, CloudWatch logs. We need to give permissions for S3 here. Let's go and choose S3. Actions, complete actions I'm giving there. Resources. So ideally we need to pick a specific resource, like we need to pick a specific S3 bucket, but anyways, this is a demo. I'm giving access to all resources here. I need one more permission, which is going to be DynamoDB, right? And again, I'm selecting all actions here. Coming to resources, I'm saying all resources. Review the policy, name it, and create the policy. Now create a role. I want this role for my Lambda function. So in AWS service, we need to go and select Lambda. Next, go and set the permissions. We just created a policy. Select that policy and attach this policy to that role. Role name I'm giving again same and create a role. Yeah, we're done with a creation of a role and creation of a policy. The next step is let's go and create a Lambda function. Select Lambda, create a function. Let's create a function from scratch. Name it Runtime is going to be Python 3.6. Role, I'm gonna choose an existing role here. Yeah, that's the role we created. Now create a function. The function is created for us. Go to the editor and start writing the code for that. So this function is going to be called when an JSON file is uploaded to S3. So in this function, we need access to S3 and dynamodb. Let's import S3 and dynamodb here. So first we need to import Boto3, which is Python module for AWS SDK. From Boto3, so we need to get client of S3. Okay. From using this S3 client, we need to get data from that S3 object. First, let's check what data we are getting in this event object. Accordingly, let's go and implement our logic. So print it. So we should not directly print event object. We have to convert this event object into string and print it. We have function string str, and to that function pass this event object. So first we are going to check what this event object contains, and based on that structure, from that event I'm going to take the file name, and I'm going to take the object the S3 bucket name, and accordingly we are going to build the logic. Let's first save it. Let's also add a trigger. So when a JSON file is uploaded into S3, it has to trigger this Lambda function. So from this trigger section, select S3, configure this S3 trigger. The bucket is going to be Java Home JSON. This is the one we created, and event type is going to be object created. Whenever object created in this bucket, that has to trigger the event for us. I don't want to give any prefix and suffix. Let's keep it as .json. So whenever there is a file with .json extension uploaded into this S3 bucket, it's going to trigger this Lambda function. So add it, save it. Now let's upload object into this S3. I have one object with me on the desktop. Yeah, this is JSON file object which contains some data in it. This is what I'm going to upload into S3 bucket. Okay, let's go and do that. So add files. So on the desktop I have data.json. Open that file and upload. So this triggers our Lambda function. The file got uploaded, so this would have triggered the Lambda function. To see the output, let's go to CloudWatch logs and check for the data. So under this logs, right, under CloudWatch logs, there should be a log group created with a Lambda function name S3 JSON dynamodb. Open that. Yeah, there's an entry. Let's open this also. Yeah, see this one. So this is what we are getting from that event object. So from this event object, we need to take the bucket name, plus we also need to take the file key such that we can download that object and process that file and store that information into DynamoDB. this content properly, let's go and check some online JSON viewers. Place this data here, format it, right? This is the actual object. So from actual object we have records. That's the main property in this object. It is an array. So in this case it's going to be one single entry. Let me show it in viewer. It will be nice to, it's nicely formatted. See, the main object, the main property is records. In this we have only one record. So under records we have something like event, version, source. Along with that we have a property called as S3. Under that we have a bucket. Under this we have a name, and likewise we have one more property called as object. It has the object, it has a file name there. So from this object we need to pick the key of the file, and we also need to pick the bucket name. So let's go and implement the logic according to that. Yeah, so open your Lambda function. So bucket name equals, in this case, right, event is an dictionary, and from that dictionary is nothing but again JSON here. So from the dictionary the main object is records. Okay, so under this records we have, it is a array. So under this array we need to pick the first array in that, 0. So inside this array we have S3. Inside this S3 object we have bucket. Inside bucket we have name. So this returns the bucket name from this event object. Let me cross check once again. We have records. So under records we are picking the first entry in that array, that's 0. So from the first entry we are picking up S3. So from S3 we are taking the property called as bucket. From bucket we are picking up this name, which returns the bucket name for us. So likewise we also need to get the file name now. So almost the process is similar. So from event records, from records the first element in that. So from first element it's S3. From S3 it is object and key. Let's also try to print it, and let's make sure we are getting the right information, and let's proceed with the further logic. Print those values here. So print bucket, print JSON file name. Save the function. Go back to your S3 bucket, delete this object, re-upload it. Upload it. This must have triggered a Lambda function. Let's go and check logs here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there's one more entry created here. Let's pick up that one. Yes, looks we are getting the right information. So this is the bucket name and this is the file name. So we are getting that bucket name and file name from this event object. The next logic is take data from this S3 bucket and connect to DynamoDB and place this object into DynamoDB. Let's import S3 client. So use boto3 and call client and get the reference of S3 here. So let's see a function on this S3 client which gets object from S3. Let's open boto3 documentation for S3. Yeah, open this first link. Search for a function. Yeah, this is how we got the client. Search for a function. Yeah, we have get object here. So it takes bucket name and the key. So we don't need to pass other information here. So use this client. Now we can take out this information. We can take out this because we got the logic to get bucket name and file name there. So client dot get object bucket equals the bucket name here and key. Yeah, key equals the file name. So this returns back JSON object for us. We got response from this S3 get object. So this object contains the body. We need to pick up the body from this object. So let's check the document. We are calling this get object. We are passing bucket name, key, and let's see the response. Response type is dictionary and it's giving some JSON object with a lot of information. From this JSON object we have to pick up the body. So in this property we have the JSON file actually. Okay, so from this on this object we have to call read method. This is a streaming body in Python. So from this streaming body we need to get this reader. Okay, so from this we need to convert it into a dictionary. Name this one as JSON file reader. Okay, so from this we need to use one more module here which is JSON module. Import JSON. So JSON has a function called as loads. So pass this reader, it converts this reader into a file for us. So finally we converted this JSON file into this dictionary. So we can pass this dictionary to DynamoDB table and persist it. Let's import DynamoDB client here. DynamoDB. So from DynamoDB, we have to get a table with table name. The table name is employees. Reference that with table. So on this table, we need to call put item. Let's go and check document for DynamoDB. Go to 3, DynamoDB. Yeah, so we got a DynamoDB resource here. Just a moment. Yeah, it has to be resource, not client. And from this resource, we're getting a table by passing the name. Using this table name, we can say put item. So this is the function we are calling here, and I need to pass the JSON data, otherwise the item, which is a record in DynamoDB table, to this item. So come back here. So that information is in this dictionary. See, this is nothing but this object. So we are downloading a file from S3. Okay, it's a response from S3. From that response, we're getting the body. From that body, we are trying to get the reader, and using this JSON loads, we are converting this. We are reading data from this file and converting it as a dictionary, and we are passing the dictionary as an item by calling this table.putItem. So I think this is the logic. Let's go and execute this function and see the output. Let's save this function. Upload the JSON file here. Add files, JSON data, upload it. Okay, let's go and check CloudWatch logs here. Let's go and check the DynamoDB table. Yeah, JSON file content is inserted into this DynamoDB. Let me show the file here. See, employee ID is 3. It's 3. Age is 26. Name is Hari. And location is USA. So that's all about this demo. Thanks for watching.